Hit the can.
Okay, so what are you trying to do?
I don't know. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so I've got a soldering iron over here.
Yeah.
I'm basically like 5th grade soldering skills. I've got an arcade stick hooked into a Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
Here. So what I did was I took a Sega Genesis controller and just shoved it into my arcade stick. It just hooked the arcade stick into the Sega Genesis controller.
Like the motherboard of the controller?
Yeah. So the next step is I want to try and also hook a Super Nintendo controller into it.
Yeah.
And then play something like Sonic because of the Sonic movie.
Okay.
And Mario because of the hit Mario movie from the 90s. At the same time.
Okay, so you're going to have the motherboard for the Sega Genesis controller and the motherboard for the Super Nintendo controller in one arcade stick.
Yes.
They'll be plugged into both.
Yes, I'm going to just shove 2 controllers into it, hook them up together.
And you can play 2 games at the same time
with
one controller.
With one controller, and we're going to create some kind of a weird rift in the universe by doing this, by combining Mario and Sonic.
That's awesome. Is this going to work?
I have no idea.
So there was a crack in this hose here.
Yeah.
The people were going to come to fix it.
They never came.
They never came.
They never came to fix it. So what I did was, I got the parts that I needed for it.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have the time to fix it, so instead I got like a cap for it and just put a cap. I took off the old stuff, hacked it off, took it off, and then capped where the water line is coming out of.
Okay.
I just put a cap and stopped it. So we don't have the sprinkler system now, but
yeah. But yeah, there's no valve for that. So I was wondering why, like, how you were able to actually
stop the thing from coming.
Stop it from leaking all over the place.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of a game plan for doing this.
Yeah.
I've already got the Sega Genesis controller hooked up.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to like unplug it all, and then probably cut all the lines.
Yeah.
So I've got like a free line, and then solder the Super Nintendo controller, and then just connect those 2 to each other.
Yeah.
And then connect the 3rd one in there, and I might just use like a wire screw to do it. So 3 wires, Sega, Super Nintendo, 3rd wire, right? Wire screw it, then the 3rd wire goes to this, so they're all going to the same place. Watch, I'll show you.
I don't understand this stuff as good as you do.
Yeah. There's a smoke screen.
What?
So it's like you scrape this off.
Yeah.
These are your 2 leads. And then I'm just gonna solder onto it. And some flux on there. So flux keeps it from oxidating. Kind of like an apple.
Keeps it from rusting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an apple out in the oxygen and it gets brown.
Yeah.
It's like that, I guess.
Yeah. So you're basically just melting metal.
Yes. So you're melting metal. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff too, like people will kind of like tinning the tip, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So your tip has some solder on it, so there's just not like a hot piece of metal that's gonna get all like corroded, you know? But yeah, you're melting metal, and then you're attaching like wires to it.
Yeah.
And then the electricity will basically get sent through it.
Yeah.
So you could technically just like not do any of the soldering and just attach like a wire to it if a wire would just stay there.
Right.
Which is why if people don't know how to solder, I just tell them like put a wire to it. If you see it's working, then hot glue gun it.
Well, the thing is, if you know where everything is, then you don't need to organize. It is organized. I know where everything is. That's the same as organized.
I will say this though, in defense of being organized.
Yeah.
When you organize, you can like a year later still know where something is. When I don't organize, a year later, I completely forget I even have something in the first place.
That's true.
Because I'll look like, oh, this is where it should be, and it's not there because I put it somewhere stupid.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a computer password. Like, you can't remember all of your passwords because all of them have some silly symbol that you have to use.
Yeah.
So, I have done it before where, like, I'll write a list of what my passwords are for everything, and I'm like, I have to keep it somewhere where nobody else will find it, but also somewhere where I'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
And I've never placed it somewhere where I've been able to find it.
No one can find it.
Yeah.
It's the most safe password there is.
Yeah. Security questions are like, who is your third grade teacher? I'm like, I don't know who my third grade teacher is.
I didn't have one. I skipped the third grade. What am I, an idiot? Why did I put that one down there? Which time that I took the first grade? The first time, the second time, or the third time? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because the Oscars is going on.
Yes.
And we're not watching it.
Right.
And this is something I always think about. What is your top 10 movies like that you would put in the best picture category of all time? If you could just combine every all-time movie.
Oh man, geez, top 10.
Yeah.
I think The Godfather is going to be in the top 10.
Right.
I think it's definitely in there.
Yeah.
Now, here's the interesting thing about this question.
Yes.
Is there's a possibility that we would pick something that was nominated and lost to some other stupid movie.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Like, what was the movie that lost to Ordinary People? Was it,
I think it was
Raging Bull or something?
I don't know if it was Raging Bull or if it was The Right Stuff.
Oh, wow.
But I think The Right Stuff lost to Gandhi.
Gandhi was good.
Gandhi was really good.
Gandhi was really good. I would probably give it to The Right Stuff over Gandhi.
I've got Godfather and Godfather 2 both in there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm tempted to say Rocky. I want to put Rocky in there. Maybe Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Okay, yeah. Gosh, man.
It is kind of a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say that I'm a huge Western fan until I list all the Westerns that I like, and then it's like...
Oh, you like what? Yeah, because there's so many Westerns.
Yeah, there's so many good Westerns. But, like, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid is perfect. It's just a perfect film.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
What's funny is that, like, if we really boil it down, it might not even be that it's a hard question. It's just that it's an overwhelming question.
Yeah.
Because we've seen so many movies.
I can kind of give you what I think mine would be. Maybe it's not 10, but I can try for it.
Okay, yeah.
So, Godfather 1 and 2 might be my top 2.
Okay, yeah.
Then Wizard of Oz.
Okay, yeah.
Gone with the Wind.
All right.
Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur, all right.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Braveheart, Saving Private Ryan. And then, because I every single one of them is an epic,
yeah.
Good Will Hunting, which is my small film.
Oh. You know, I just learned something recently about The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
The scene where they go from sepia to color for the first time.
Yes.
The whole scene shot in color.
Uh-huh.
Obviously. They painted the walls of the inside of the house sepia.
Yeah.
And they painted the skin of the actress sepia. And it was a stand-in. That was not...
Judy Garland?
Judy Garland, yeah. I was
You're
like,
kidding.
Dorothy Garland. I kept wanting to say Dorothy.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a stand-in, not Judy Garland, painted sepia.
Yeah.
And then she steps out of frame, and then Judy Garland steps into frame.
You're kidding.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like... It's almost like I get it from a actor's standpoint.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I don't want to be in this stupid scene. Painted, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares? But it's like one of the most iconic scenes in movie history, and it's like, wow, what a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
To not actually have been the person in that scene.
Yeah. To be the stupid sepia-painted person.
Yeah.
There are a lot of grounds for like a basis of what film is, where it's like it's an art, it's more camera-based, it's photography, it's this, it's that. But I think there's a really good case to be made for film is magic.
Yeah.
It's a magic trick, pulling a magic trick on camera and getting the audience to say, how the heck did they do that? One of the first narrative filmmakers, George Méliès, was a magician by trade.
Yeah.
And he made Trip to the Moon. And so there was a bunch of practical effects that basically he just did magic tricks. And he did it on camera, and he used trick photography to pull off these magic tricks. And that's basically what he did. Like that's all filmmaking was to him, was just like, it's another medium for me to be able to pull off my magic tricks.
Yeah. I feel the same way about it. I think that, like, when you see someone do a magic trick to, like, a baby, or, and I hate to compare babies to, like, monkeys, but when they do it to, like, animals,
right,
like a monkey,
and
the awe in the face, where they're just like, what?
It's the same face I have.
Yeah. It's the same face I have when I see something in a movie where I'm like, how did they do it?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it's kind of why I over the years, have a disdain more and more for CGI.
Yeah. Yeah, there is something really special about practical effects, and yet probably the biggest reason for why is because there is that sense of magic where I look at the T-Rex in Jurassic Park.
Yes.
And I'm like, how did they do that?
Yes.
They couldn't possibly have made an entire animatronic, and they actually did. But you know.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like that where it's just, it does kind of leave you in awe, you know.
Mm-hmm. I've got a weird one.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone would ever agree with this, but hear me out. I've got a whole case for it.
Okay.
Kevin Bacon gave an award-winning performance in Tremors.
In Tremors?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay. Let's hear your case.
Okay. I'll tell you why his acting, maybe why nobody really recognizes the performance he gave as being like so great. One is he didn't have the best supporting cast. He had good supporting cast.
Yeah.
But like Reba McEntire wasn't great. Sorry, Reba.
Yeah.
Like I know her.
Yeah.
She's like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Reba McEntire wasn't great. Bert was good.
Yeah. Okay.
Alan Grossman. He was good, but not like not over the top great.
It's like the one actor whose name I don't remember. Okay.
The main like love interest girl.
Right.
She wasn't good. The guy next to him, I don't remember the name of his like co-star. He was good.
Yeah.
He did a really good job.
He's usually good.
Yeah.
He's usually good.
But my whole reason behind like why I think he gave a great performance is because he's in Tremors. His performance is memorable. Yeah. His character feels like people I've met before. Like I've met that guy, that kind of like small town guy. If you've ever met some small town people, some of them are just like that. They're just like super lovable.
Yeah.
They've got like kind of bigger dreams, you know?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Really?
Well, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
The case can be made that because he's surrounded by so many, like, let's say subpar performances,
right?
Shouldn't his have stood out above the rest?
I don't think so. I think what happens is you get dragged down or dragged up. That's what I think happens.
So he gives a great performance because he's surrounded by subpar. He appears to be more subpar.
Yes, because it's like a movie is either like, oh, this is a great film, or it's, oh, this is cheesy,
camp,
and silly.
I don't know if I'd say I'm convinced.
Yeah,
but that's an interesting take on it. Rewatchability is it's something that you have to take into consideration when talking about your favorite movies versus the best movies. So it's like a bunch of the movies that you mentioned, like Lawrence of Arabia or Gone with the Wind, while great movies, how many times are you gonna rewatch that movie because like you got a hankering for some Gone with the Wind? You know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you mean. So like Rocky, I'd say, is maybe one of the best movies. Rocky IV is one of my favorite movies. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've got a weird thing for Jaws 3 that makes no sense, where I watch Jaws 3 like almost every single year. Really? Yeah, I love that movie, and I think it's because I saw it like as a kid. Yeah. And it just... nostalgia factor? Yeah, I think I just saw it at that time, and just some weird time in my life where I just was mesmerized by it. You know, there's some movies that have that nostalgia factor for me, where it's like, I don't think that they're spectacular by any means, but I do get kind of an urge, like I want to watch this movie, because I used to watch them when I was so young, when I was a kid. My Best Friend's Wedding is one of those movies.
Ah, yeah. Let me see if I've still got control. Maybe it just crashed on me.
Oh, the Sega crashed?
Yeah.
There are movies that I'll watch annually, or almost annually. Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds.
I love that film.
Me and Bree watch it every Christmas. That's our Christmas movie. Balls of Fury.
Oh my gosh, I love that film.
I love it. It's funny, like when you look at the range of films that I've seen and that I've studied and that I love, man, I am totally a sucker for those like silly, stupid comedies. You know?
Yeah.
Like I love Tommy Boy. I don't know if I watch Tommy Boy as much as I watch Balls of Fury, but I watch Tommy Boy a lot.
I watch RoboCop every year, but that's like the greatest movie ever made.
RoboCop is a great movie.
Yeah.
I like Speed. Speed, I feel like, is one of those movies.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I could put it on, or like if I come across it on TV, like I'll leave it on and watch it through to the end.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like kind of lands in that realm of like favorite versus best. It's like City Lights. I feel like it's one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
Maybe deserving of Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
And The General is one of my favorite movies. Buster Keaton, 1927.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Love that one.
Harry and the Hendersons. Crazy about that thing.
Harry and the Hendersons, I feel like the most recent time I watched it, I was so surprised by how much I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go from Super to Sega. I think that's the path I'm gonna go, rather than this other way I was trying to do it.
So like the Super motherboard you're going to attach to the Sega motherboard?
Yeah, the Super controller, I'm going to attach to the Sega controller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a specific reason why you picked these two games? Is it just because they're both platformers? Or is it just kind of like...
Well, they're both movie games.
Okay.
That's why. No, yeah, I mean, they're both platformers. They're kind of like polar opposites.
Yeah.
Like Mario and Sonic.
Yeah.
And then it's polar opposite consoles, the SNES and the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be really interesting playing these two at the same time and seeing how it goes.
The game that you're most known for,
yeah,
Streets of Rage 2.
Yes.
There isn't really a Super Nintendo counterpart, is there? Like in terms of like if there's a game that you could play one alongside the other.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
There is.
Yeah, it's called Final Fight.
Is Final Fight kind of more procedural, or is it kind of like Streets of Rage 2, where there's a lot of RNG?
I mean, nothing's really like Streets of Rage 2.
Right.
It came out the same year Golden Axe did in the arcades.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like that.
Is there a method to your like which wire you actually pick?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep like the same colors going.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to, I don't know why. But just down the line maybe it'll be easier.
It makes me feel like I'm being organized.
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm doing something that makes sense around here.
Yeah. I work in a way that makes sense to me, and I kind of organize things according to what I know I'm going to be working on, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen some of the way that I shoot certain scenes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't just set the camera and run through the scene, and then set the camera from a different angle and run through the scene, and then, like, you know, like over and over again, just so I have the coverage.
Yeah.
Like, we'll have the scene ready, I'll set the camera, and I'm like, okay, stop at this point, and then start again, like, a page or two later.
Yes.
Because this whole, like, page in between is not going to be shot from this angle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all in my head, and if I gave it to somebody to edit for me, they'd probably go crazy trying to figure out, like, what puzzle piece goes to what, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know, like, since I know I'm going to be editing it later, I just kind of try and, I keep the transitions in mind, and it's like, this is what it needs to look like going from this shot to, or, yeah, from this angle to another angle. And for certain lines, it's just, you know, the camera needs to be a little closer or a little further away, it needs to be, you know, coming from a different perspective. So I know that there's just those lines that you shouldn't have from that far away shot or that or that close up shot, you know?
Yeah, you've got kind of the movie in your head.
Yeah.
So you know what your shots are supposed to look like. Not everyone is that organized. Like their brain's not organized enough to be doing that stuff.
Yeah,
and they don't have they can't see it necessarily 100% in their head.
Right. Like they're not organized in that particular way.
Yes.
And I have met or worked with filmmakers who they get coverage from like every angle because they don't know what it's going to look like until they're in the editing room.
Yeah.
So it's like they're piecing the movie together when they're editing. I'm piecing the movie together usually when I'm writing. You know?
Yeah.
It's like that's kind of when I'm thinking about like this is the shot and then it needs to go into this. And it's to the degree where sometimes I'll write the insert just because I know that there's going to be an insert shot there.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll write the insert as if it's like an action. It's just my method, you know, versus the way that somebody else would go about it. My process is very specific because I'm usually writing, filming, and editing my own stuff.
You got to use a process that makes sense to you, and then you want to be kind of using your strengths.
As a general rule, that's kind of like how I talk to people too. If I don't usually offer advice, but if somebody asks, then like I'll tell them what works for me, and then I'll usually suffix that with that's what works for me. That's not necessarily like the way to go about it or how like somebody else would go about it. Like there's not really a wrong way. That's just how I do things.
I like the fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Kind of like saying because like until it could I don't know, for me in anything I'm doing, I feel like it takes me a long time to find my style or my voice or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It can take a long time, so it's just like you do have to kind of like you're just faking it, and you're copying until you really find like, oh, this is actually what I sound like.
Right. Yeah. It is kind of like that. When you're first doing anything, it's an imitation. It's an imitation of whoever it is that taught you how to do it, or like whatever it is you saw that you want to emulate. And then eventually it's like you just take the little bits and pieces that you learned along the way and turn it into your own voice. Probably under 30 minutes edited so far for The Bottom Dweller.
Yeah.
And I'm still too close to it, It's like when you're editing something and just watching it over and over again, you can't tell if it's working or not until you're done and you're able to separate yourself from it. So I don't know. I was thinking of exporting just like those first 20-some minutes and sending it to you.
Yeah.
Just to get your opinion on what you think, what I got so far.
You don't want to finish it first?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I still have a little bit of shooting to do.
Yeah.
Me and Bree have, I think maybe 3 or 4 scenes that we need to shoot just by ourselves, and then we have 2 scenes that we need to shoot with Hans. Your scenes are wrapped.
Yeah.
We wrapped your scenes today.
Yeah, I wrapped today, which is always nice.
Yeah. Do you have fun? You have fun when like acting in front of the camera?
It's okay. I don't know if it's necessarily like my thing though. Something I'm passionate about.
You prefer to be behind the camera?
I don't know if that's even my thing either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you started as a writer, so like writing is mostly your thing. I guess.
Yeah. I think I enjoy the writing the most. That's kind of probably the thing I would be really doing.
Yeah.
But I'm comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I never feel like uncomfortable in front of the camera. And a lot of that's probably just from streaming for so long that I'm just used to always being in front of the camera.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's hard to be camera shy when you spend most of your time. I mean, like you were streaming for how long has it been now since you started doing Anthopants?
I don't know how long. I think it's been like probably like 6 years on YouTube.
Jeez.
I don't know how long I've been streaming for. Probably like 4 or 5. Like at first it was like it would take it takes a lot to like start the stream.
Yeah.
You're kind of like okay, here we go, like psyching yourself up for it.
Yeah.
And I remember just like one day all of a sudden it was like I just would Like, I wasn't even thinking about it, and I just would start it. I may have just burnt a hole in this thing.
It took me a long time to start feeling comfortable in front of the camera, at least just as myself. You know, like I always felt like I could be more comfortable playing a character in front of a camera, acting like myself. I don't think that I ever really thought of myself as an interesting person, you know?
Yeah.
So I just kind of just being myself, letting the camera roll and being myself was something that took a long time for me to get used to.
Yeah, I think it just as any other kind of like artistic endeavor.
Yeah.
It just takes a long time before you find yourself while doing it. Even like while really anything, like I think if you're acting or you're writing or you're directing or you're in front of the camera, you're behind the camera. If it's an artistic endeavor, like you don't really find your voice until you're putting in like hundreds of hours into it. So I mean, I don't know. I think as a writer, it took me. Is it my 5th novel? I think it was like my 4th or 5th novel before I felt like, this is kind of the way.
You're talking about The Silly Psychic?
Yeah, I think The Silly Psychic was the first time I was writing, and it was like, I don't know, like the way it was in my head was exactly the way it came out on paper. But it took me like, 4 novels before I got to that point.
I really liked Soul of the New World.
Yeah.
Is that your 2nd novel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one a lot, and that's something that I feel like, if we ever had the kind of funding to make it happen, like miniseries,
yeah,
we could do a miniseries on Soul of the New World. Like that would be amazing. It's such a good story.
Yeah, like I could see myself just writing in that world for like the rest of my life.
Yeah,
because I just really like that world. And same thing with like The Silly Psychic. I can see myself just writing like silly psychic books, like it's Nancy Drew or something.
Yeah. I haven't thought of like adapting a screenplay for Soul of the New World, but I adapted a screenplay for The Silly Psychic. Yeah. And that was supposed to be, or I was planning on it being my first feature-length film. And then when COVID hit, it was like lost a bunch of like funding, and it was like it's a movie that would need a good amount of funding. It would need like maybe tens of thousands of dollars in order to make it or really do it justice, Yeah,
I've got the sequel in my head.
Yeah.
I just
it would be kind of weird for you to like if you were to, let's say that we made this Silly Psychic the film.
Yeah.
Would it be weird to write the sequel as a screenplay, or do you think you would try and novelize it first?
I don't know. I think I'd probably try and novelize it first.
Okay.
I think I would write the novel.
Yeah, and then just have me adapt it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or you just do that.
Yeah.
Because I like your adaptation,
Yeah.
of it. So it's like, okay, cool.
Well, the adaptation is very faithful.
Yeah.
To the original. Like there's so much good that I liked in the novel that I was like, it's going to be hard to cut any of this. That doesn't sound good. After Bottom Dweller, do you think that we would be able to start on any of the scripts we already have completed, or would we need to like write one of the ideas we've been knocking around?
Oh, yeah, like can we just grab one of the scripts we have?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'm not like 100% sure on that, It's hard for me to tell what sometimes is and what isn't doable, like in your head,
Yeah, like what's gonna.
Yeah, like what's gonna like
cost
what you're
too
gonna,
much or too big of a favor to ask, or that kind of stuff.
Because I'll do stuff where I feel like, oh, that's really not a big deal.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, that's a big deal. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know then. No, I do have a couple ideas just for screenplays,
Yeah.
I don't know, you want to talk about them now?
Let's do it.
Okay. This one's so good, I think I stole it.
It's so good you think you stole it?
Yeah, because I'm like, there's no way I didn't steal this.
That happens. Let's find out if you stole it.
Yeah, so this is set in the whatevers back in the day.
All right.
pre-Abraham Lincoln's presidency.
A period piece?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. About somebody from wherever Abraham Lincoln grew up. Okay? Just hear me out because I don't actually know the details of any of this stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's like 15 to 17 years old. So still living at home.
Okay.
He lives kind of like just with him and his sister, and then his dad goes away. His mom died a long time ago.
Okay.
He's got a stepmom, but his dad goes away a lot, and I think the stepmom ends up going with him. So him and his sister will just be alone, kind of like at the house. They just basically go, whatever, foraging in the woods. He's in the woods one day, and comes across a runaway slave.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And him and this guy basically kind of get to know each other a little bit. Then at the end, this guy ends up getting caught and taken back into slavery.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And we never say it's Abraham Lincoln.
But it's Abraham
But it's Abraham Lincoln. And that's why he had...
that push for the 13th
Yes,
Amendment,
such a kind of a He
had real disdain for slavery.
Yes.
Yeah.
He hated slavery.
Yeah.
But he was a politician, and he would say stuff that sounded kind of like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
When he was intentionally trying to abolish slavery.
Yeah, like he was trying to get...
Yes, he was trying to get
the
reelected.
voters on his side.
Yes.
Okay.
He was trying to get elected.
Yeah.
And he was saying stuff that sounded like, oh, you
Yeah.
don't really care about this issue. When really, every action he took,
Yeah.
you're like, he really cared about this issue.
He was trying to get elected so that he could end slavery.
Yes.
So he was talking to people
saying,
who were pro-slavery, like,
Yes.
oh, I don't really care.
I don't care. I just want the union to stay together.
Yeah.
That's not it.
Right.
He was intentionally trying to get rid of slavery.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an interesting kind of perspective piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I thought it's fictional.
Right. Historical fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would never be said that this is Lincoln.
Right.
But that's who it is.
Yeah.
And that's why he had this, oh my gosh.
Yeah, this drive.
Here's this person who I grew to like and care about.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do about the fact that this guy gets taken back into this horrible thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's so good. I'm like, there's no way I didn't steal this. I must have stole the idea. Because it literally came to me and I'm like, this is a great idea.
I'm trying to think of something that would be similar. And the only thing that comes to mind is maybe Huckleberry Finn. Because I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while since I read it, but the whole point of his journey with Jim is toward the end, he's like, I've been brought up to think that if I go against the law and I don't send this guy back into this horrible situation for him, then I'm gonna go to hell. It's like eternal damnation on my soul. And he's like, I guess I'll go to hell then. He's grown to love Jim so much as a friend and a father figure that he's like, I would rather go to hell than send this guy back into slavery. That's the moral that's supposed to be taken from Huck Finn.
Really? I didn't notice that. But I haven't read it since I was in 8th grade or something like that,
Yeah. It's been a while since I read it too, and I'm hoping I'm not remembering it wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'm pretty sure that that's an actual line in the book, is that he's like, I guess I'll go to hell then. That's what he thought his choices were.
Yeah.
Was send Jim back to slavery or go to hell, and he chose hell.
Huh. Wow. That's actually kind of powerful.
Yeah, especially for the time, eternal damnation wasn't so brushed off as it is now.
Yeah.
People were very religious in the South.
People were a little bit more serious about it back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, eternal damnation, whatever. Sounds like a party to me. So that Screenplay.
Yeah.
I mean, we might be able to pull it off because it's so.
Yes, it's so minimalist. It's so minimalist.
Yeah. We might be able to pull it off, even though it is a period piece. Because generally speaking, period pieces tend to be expensive.
Yeah.
But because that's so.
I need your hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna get cigar smoke right in your face.
Okay. I need you on the left side,
Okay.
if that's possible. So I need you to lift the controller this way so I can see this point right here. Yes, try and hold it still there.
I'm trying to steady myself on something.
Yeah, just try not to be Katharine Hepburn shaky over there.
I can't help it.
Okay.
Extremely shaky. Is that good?
Yeah, let's see if that did anything.
I'm going to solder this directly into your finger.
Actually, to go into here, which means I got to switch controllers, which means they're going to crash.
Uh-oh.
Bet something's going to crash from it, just because I think the power surge, I think.
Right, yeah.
The initial
It's
power
like going
surge.
from one console to the other.
Yeah. I forgot that I messed with the up,
Yeah.
and I have to resolder new ups on this thing. I got to take the up wires off of it.
What do you have, like, actually working?
I've got every direction but up working. I need your hand again.
Alright.
Yeah.
Need
I
my
did-
shaky hand.
Yeah, I literally did everything backwards. So it's like what I wanted. Now, let's see if I can get the up working.
Yeah.
Then I have to get the 3 buttons,
Right.
because really Mario only has 3 buttons.
Yeah, well, Mario has jump, right?
It's got 2 jumps,
And then
Mario World.
Speed.
Speed, 2 speed, 2 jumps, but they're 2 different jumps, but 2 same speed.
Oh, right, one of them's like the corkscrew jump?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. You were doing Kaizo for a little bit, the Kaizo Mario stuff?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. You just get to a point where you have to pick a game
Yeah.
and play that game.
Yeah.
And like if you have, the more time you have, the more you can play. I don't play video games.
Right.
I'm like, I stream.
Yeah, that's when you play.
Yeah, and like I'll stream if I'm playing like Streets 4, that's pretty much all I have time to play.
Yeah.
I can't be switching between games if I want to get anything done.
Yeah.
Because I'm not just like casually having fun. I'm either speedrunning or I'm going for some challenge or, trying to beat something.
Like you're playing competitively. You're not playing like leisurely.
Yeah.
Or to have fun.
I may need your hand again.
Alright. Yeah, it is weird. Like you really can't
Yeah, just hold it from the bottom. There. Just like
it's
that.
like you really can't switch from game to game super easily. Like the Streets of Rage games are so different from one to another. And I will play Streets of Rage 1, and then I switch over to Streets of Rage 2. I keep expecting like the special to bring in the car that drives in and just wipes the entire screen for me.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like whenever I play Streets of Rage 1, I like want to do just a quick special and I accidentally use my car and like I've wasted the one car that I get that wipes the whole screen for me.
It's weird how it doesn't work. You can't switch games very well.
Yeah.
But you just can't switch games very well.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're playing at a high level, so much of it is muscle memory that you're not really making conscious decisions. Like, if you're making conscious decisions in a game as fast as Streets of Rage 2...
You're playing too slow.
You're playing too slow, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so shaky. What is it called? When you're shaky when you're not doing anything? It's like, kind of like a passive...
Yeah.
Shakiness. But, like, I actually have a pretty steady hand when I'm doing something,
Yeah, you got the Sundance Kid disease, where he's better if he's moving.
Yeah.
Just keep holding that there, bud. Thanks, bud.
Don't solder my finger. How bad would the solder hurt, you think?
What, if it hits you?
Yeah.
It's at like 350 degrees right now.
So it's like pretty hot.
It's not, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it's like the most difficult part of like acting opposite Hans is trying to keep a straight face, because he'll like improvise a line.
Yeah.
Every scene, he'll improvise a line that's like
Hilarious. Yeah.
hysterical. Yeah, and like whenever he, it's often that he'll improvise something that ends up in the finished product. So yeah, I don't know. It helps having access to a stand-up comedian.
He's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. This last time we were doing the thing where we were improvising, me and him.
Yeah.
I got him laughing.
Yeah.
Like where he was like, and it was great because I totally intentionally insulted him.
Yeah.
I still don't understand the protocol on that one. You know, like if I'm making fun of my cousin,
right,
that I've known, like that I used to like babysit,
right,
when he was a baby, you know,
yeah,
like I've known him that long.
Yeah,
we're that close. Aren't I allowed to just say whatever I want to about him? That's my whole thing. You know what I mean? Even if it sounds really, really mean, it's like we're allowed. We've kind of like been through it enough that we can talk trash to each other.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the dynamic that you and Hans have with each other. Like, you guys will, like, playfully insult each other.
Yeah.
For, like, 20, 30 minutes straight sometimes. Like, it's not, like, an ill-intended thing for either of you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that if people were unaware of that, like an outsider looking in, then they might be like, "What? Why are you such
like
jerks to each other?
Why do you guys suck so bad?
We're just family, Yeah. We don't care."
Up's not working, but I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
And then try and get up working later.
Okay.
So, because everything else I think is working. I still don't have it plugged in. That's why. Never mind. I'm not.
I think of the scripts that we have written. Today again is probably most filmable. I'd like to get a director of photography for it, and it's like if we can collaborate with somebody who's down to like just jump on board and shoot for some slices of pizza.
Yeah.
Then like we could start shooting on that tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's like if we have to bring somebody in who's going to be paid for their work, or they should be paid for their work. We need a little time to bring in some funding.
Well, the thing is, like, people should always be paid for their work, but we're not getting paid for it.
Right. So we can't afford to pay them.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it is. And it's like,
yeah.
And it's also an expense to us as well.
Right.
To be doing it. But yeah, it's not like...
It's not like we don't want to pay them.
Yeah, it's not like that. It'd be so cool to be able to pay people.
Yeah. If they're willing to work for scale.
Yeah.
Well, it's 15% of zero.
Yeah, exactly. You get 100% of the profits. 100%. Yeah. I come up and grab it, but
what'd you get?
I'm ready to go for the super cool. What's it called here?
The headlamp?
Yeah, just because every time I put my arm out, I can't see.
Oh, you're
like I'm in shadow.
Casting a shadow over your headlight. We have a couple of ideas that I feel like we can shoot, and it may be easier to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just ideas so far. We don't have the scripts actually written for them yet.
Yeah, well, I like the way you did Bottom Dweller, where you just kind of jumped in on it, That's another way of doing it,
Yeah, Bottom Dweller is the first film that I started shooting before I finished the script. It's the first time I've done that.
Yeah.
And it worked out fine. Like, I felt like as long as I had the outline, then I knew, like, okay, I can make this work. I can string the story together.
Biscuit lover.
And then it was just a matter of like writing all the other pieces. And there is a certain sense of like, because we've been writing for so long. Like, I've been writing for like 15, 16 years now. Like, I started writing in high school.
Yeah.
So there is sort of, it's almost like a muscle memory thing. Like, you're naturally creating a piece of the story that would easily turn into the rest of the story. Does that make sense? I don't need to know the whole story in order to create something that can like branch out into a full-fledged story.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean. It depends on genre too. Like, I'm doing comedy.
Yeah.
There's gonna be improv anyway.
Right.
So we can improv this much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what I can get away with.
Yeah. Like, here's the spine of the story, which is just as developed as the spine of the story to Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet.
Yeah.
It's just as developed.
Yeah.
But, like, all those in-between little pieces,
yeah,
those don't need to be set in stone.
Right.
Yeah. And that's really what takes a long time, I think, for us at least. Because we're very good at, like, being like, here's the spine of the story.
Yeah.
And, like, coming up with that, like, okay, here's the beats.
Right.
Beginning, middle, end.
Yeah.
We're really good at doing that.
Yeah.
Weirdly so.
But I think, you get to a point where you become so accustomed to the rules that you start feeling very comfortable breaking the rules. So it's like, we know the beats, we know the 5-point plot structure, and we know that we can cheat that if we need to.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't need to follow a formula. If I want to change it, if I want to do something different, then I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to make it work. And a lot of that does come with just experience. Like, you got a buttload of experience writing. Like, you've been writing longer than I have. You've been writing, like, what, 2 decades now?
Yeah.
We feel comfortable kind of just screwing with the rules a little bit.
Can you see if you can find my hot glue gun?
I'll try, but you're the one with the headlamp.
There it is.
You got it.
Yeah. I've got an extra headlamp, Peter. It's totally.
We can both look that cool.
It's. Well, we could both have one. I don't know how cool you'd look in it.
Yeah, it is something that I've actually found surprising is how. I don't want to use the word dismissive, but I'm going to use it. It's how dismissive people can be about, like, when you want them to jump on board with a feature-length film that you're going to make.
Yeah.
And with Confined, we made, I think, the entire film before we told anybody and got any voice actors on board with it.
Yeah.
And then the Golden Boys, me and Hans had shot for maybe like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Before we even approached any of the other actors.
Hans's parents.
Yeah.
Are, aunt and uncle.
Right, yeah.
Didn't even know what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
And we finished the thing.
We finished it, yeah.
And they were asking me, like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I was like, we're making a movie.
Yeah.
It's a feature-length film.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is Hans doing in it? I'm like, he's the star of it.
Yeah.
And my aunt's like, he's the star of it! Like, across the room to, our uncle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, Hans, you're not telling him this at all? Like, yeah, so...
He didn't tell his parents. He didn't tell his, like, fiancé.
Whenever we go over there, she asked us, like, what are you guys doing? He doesn't tell me anything.
When we were shooting the scene for the Bottom Dweller, I was like, if your fiancé comes home right now, is she going to be like, what is everybody doing in my house? And he's like, yeah, she might say that. Like, he didn't tell her. It's how I've had to get people to jump on board with my films. It's like, I start shooting. Yeah. And then, like, it's like, yeah, I've been shooting this thing for a couple weeks. We have a scene that we're shooting this Saturday. Are you interested? And they're like, yeah. And they're super gung-ho about it.
Yes.
And we did, kind of the same thing with the Bottom Dweller. Like, me and Bree just started shooting. And we shot maybe like 20-25% of it before we even started telling people, like, oh, by the way, we're shooting a movie.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I kind of get it, because you can get burned so many times, and you can waste so much time on other people's projects where they're not set up.
Right.
They're not ready to go.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a waste of your time, and it's unfortunate that happens. But
yeah.
I think it happens enough to the point where people are like, dude, we have full control.
What, seriously?
Up.
You have full direction.
Down, left, right, full directional. Yes.
Oh man, this is coming.
I just got to get the buttons on now. Just got to get the buttons.
There are a lot of, I don't want to say a lot. There's a lot of filmmakers though that are maybe, they appear to be all talk.
Yeah.
Because like everybody has an idea. Everybody wants to make a movie. So I think that, yeah, for the people that maybe have been burned, or like who do it more professionally, they do this for a living, or like they just, they want to get going on it. They're looking more for like the doers, and they want to make sure that if I'm going to jump on a project with you, it's not going to be like, in development for like 2-3 months, and I'm on the hook, and then nothing happens, and then I missed out on some other gig. I could have actually been doing something.
I don't want to waste my time.
Right.
They're saying.
So that is kind of the approach that I've taken, is like, I'm just going to start filming with like the one actor that I have, and then I'm going to tell somebody like, hey, I've already been filming, you want to jump on board. And it's worked, and I think once I have enough films under my belt, then it'll stop feeling like oh, Peter just has an idea.
Yeah, eventually people are going to be like, this guy's for real. He gets stuff done.
Yeah.
I like what he's doing. I want to be a part of it. And that's just, it's like, you just got to build your reputation.
Yeah.
And that's just it just takes a while, or takes however long it takes, I guess.
Yeah, every film so far has had a skeleton crew, or like, if not a majority of the film, a good portion of it has been shot just with a camera on a tripod. So like I have to set the tripod, set focus, and like kind of hope the shot is okay, and then like run out in front of the camera and stand on my mark and just like kind of hope everything works out. And then if I have time, I can watch the playback and make sure that like everything went well.
I should just be saying everything that I'm doing incorrectly. Like, wear a mask.
Yeah.
That's number one. And then like don't wipe your soldering iron directly onto the sponge. Use like some steel wool, or
Yeah.
Ow, I totally got myself.
Alright.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Careful when you wipe the sponge, because little specks of flaming hot metal will hit you.
I kind of burned myself with my cigar earlier, and like, it's weird. It's weird when like fire hits you, and you're like, that kind of hurt.
Yeah.
And it made me think of like when I was a kid, if I needed to like hold an ice cube in my hand.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna grab an ice cube from the freezer and then carry it to my cup, which is like 5 feet away.
Yeah.
And it was like the most painful thing in the world when I was a kid.
Yes.
Like, holding that ice cube is torture.
Yes.
And now it's like, I can hold an ice cube in my hand until it melts, and it's not really that big of a deal.
Yes. You know what I think that is?
What?
Partly, I think your nerves are just not as sharp as they used to be.
That's probably true.
And
callous.
Yeah, like your skin gets thicker.
Yeah.
So you're not as close to the nerve. You're almost like, as a kid, you're like kind of like a
open wound.
Yeah, you're like you're like a tooth with like the nerve sticking out.
Yeah.
You know, just everything. You feel everything so intensely. But I think it's just mental too. Like, as a kid, you're so out of control.
Yeah.
That mentally it's difficult when you're in pain and there's nothing you can do about it. You don't know when it's going to stop.
Yeah.
You, like, it's just a new experience.
Yeah, that's like, it's fair to say that every new experience of pain that you have is likely the worst pain you've ever experienced in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like there's so much pain to look forward to.
I know. You think that's something? Just wait, kid.
Yeah. Wait till your first heartbreak.
The thing is, like, you're so untrained emotionally when you're younger. Yeah. You're still learning how to cope. Yeah. How do I cope with feeling bad?
Yeah.
And then eventually you figure out, like, oh, I just am always going to feel bad.
Yeah.
Every time someone calls me a jerk.
Right.
It's always going to feel bad, and you just I don't know, it's like almost accepting the fact that you're going to feel bad and it's okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it that bad all of a sudden.
That's true. Like, if there's somebody new that I'm trying to bring in, like a new actor or actress or something, I show them a script and I'm like, tell me if you don't like the script. Like, if you don't want to be a part of it, you know, like, you can't hurt my feelings. Like, I say this to, like, everybody that's, like, new that I try and bring on.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't hurt my feelings. It's impossible. And it's like, it is kind of impossible, because it's like, if they say something that hurts my feelings, for the most part, I just don't, I let it roll off my back. I can manage it.
Yes.
It's not that big of a deal. I move on. And it's something I've said definitely to Bree, is like, I'd rather somebody hurt my feelings than waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly when it comes to filmmaking. It's like, don't tell me that you like the script and you want to be a part of it and then like leave me on the hook. It's like, I'd rather you tell me that it's stupid, I hate the script, you're stupid, your stupid movie is stupid.
Yeah.
And like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go with somebody else, you know? I'm happy that you didn't waste my time.
Yeah.
Like, just hurt my feelings, I'll be okay. And then, you know, you move on.
I think I'd rather they told me that they loved it and strung me along for a while. No. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I think what happens is you stop attaching your self-worth to everything that you're doing and every opinion that somebody has.
Yeah.
And like, and it's really really difficult to get to a point where you stop attaching your self-worth to other people's opinions or what they think, or if they think your ideas or something you said is stupid or whatever. But eventually you kind of have to do that, otherwise you're just a leaf in the wind,
right?
Being affected by everything somebody says, and they might not really have the best take on things.
That's true.
So
I feel like it goes both ways too, where especially like if you're younger or if you're talking to like somebody that you respect, like you don't want to upset them.
Yeah.
I am at a point right now where I'm extremely comfortable disagreeing with somebody who I respect a great deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, especially if I'm talking film, like if somebody's talking to me about their process or what they think is important or what they think is, what should be focused on, I'm like, wow, I've seen your movies, you're a great filmmaker, I disagree with everything you just said. And that's fine, you know. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of separating yourself from it. Like the fact that we disagree doesn't mean that we
don't like each other.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we dislike each other or that I don't like your work. So yeah, I'm extremely comfortable disagreeing with someone I respect, and I think that that's come from working with you. Like you're my older brother. It's like there's obviously a ton of respect there. But when we started collaborating on work together, it's like we need to be able to disagree with each other.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like we're not going to be able to finish anything.
And I think we're both very good at, like if you have an idea, and I'm like, I think this is better.
Yeah.
You're very good at being like, you're right.
That is better.
That is better. Yeah. Or you're very good at being like, yeah, I see what you're saying, but, and like selling me on why what I said isn't better.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you're right. And I think we're both of us are very good at that.
Yeah.
We
don't let pride get in the way.
Yeah. You're better at actually explaining your point better than I am at explaining my point.
Okay, that's true.
Because it takes us longer when I don't agree for me to be like, here's why.
Yeah.
For you to either explain to me why I'm wrong or for me to explain to you why I'm right.
Yeah.
It takes longer.
Yeah, so if you're looking at something, you're like, this doesn't work.
Yes.
I'm like, why doesn't it work? And you're like, I don't know why it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm like, now I got to deconstruct it.
Yeah. That's true. We're both really fast writers.
Yes.
And it could be something silly, ridiculous comedy, like this will be quick, or it could be like a relatively complex, like especially like we're both very philosophical in our own right. So we can come up with some very philosophically complex scripts, and we have a couple written. So we're both very fast writers. It is weird how when we collaborate, that time gets cut in half.
Yes.
Like I can write a feature-length script in a month, or I can collaborate with you, and we can write one in 2 weeks. Like it's weird.
Yeah, it is really weird. But Golden Boys was the weirdest thing that ever happened.
Yeah, maybe within an hour.
Yeah.
We had the entire story, names, places.
Oh, yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah. Working with like Daniel and Robert and Hans, like they're all so funny, and they're all like real professional. Like when when you hit record, they're on.
For Golden Boys, we had a scene with, I think you were in the car, Hans was in the car.
Right.
Daniel was outside of the car.
Yeah.
And I'm behind the camera.
Yeah.
And we're filming it, and I remember afterwards Daniel coming up to me like, how was it? And I go, I walked away from the camera. I was laughing so hard I didn't want to ruin the shot.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it looked.
Yeah.
Like I literally like walked like 20 feet away from the camera holding my mouth. Yeah. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah. I've done that. I did that on Golden Boys, and I'm the director.
Yeah.
It's like, how is the scene? I have no clue.
Yeah,
I literally had to walk away from the camera.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all real funny, and like they all have experience with improv. So like, when I say like just have at it, like like you can have some fun with this, their eyes light up.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, yeah, and then they just like they come up with something, like they all improvised something that ended up in the final product. It's funny, I have kind of like this habit type of personality, so I try and focus on like one vice, and that's usually coffee for me. And the more coffee I drink, the less I crave cigars, which is good because like I try not to smoke cigars too often. And it's been a long time since I smoked 2 cigars in one day.
Yeah.
So like, the more I'm smoking this, the less I want to drink my coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I only have room for one habit at a time.
So hold on a second.
You getting close here to a test run?
I'm getting pretty close, I think.
Oh man.
I'm getting pretty dang close. This is so crazy.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's see.
Mario, whenever you're ready, man. All right.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Okay, hold on. It's
disorienting.
It's way disorienting.
Oh my gosh, this is so weird looking.
Don't do it.
Oh my gosh.
Don't you do it. Get a thing. Where's the thing?
Oh, look out for those spikes.
Yoshi, help me. It's so difficult. Oh, this is stupid turtle. Oh, I can't look at both screens at the same time. It's impossible to look at both screens at the same time. No.
Oh yeah, you gotta like let them roll. There we go. Yeah. Oh, there's 2 of them.
Oh.
See, this is Sonic 2, so you have to do it twice as good. Yeah, you're getting the hang of it. Oh. This is so ridiculous.
It's impossible. Oh, no. Oh, Yoshi, no, don't do it.
You lost Yoshi.
Oh.
Oh, man. Oh, Sonic's done.
Oh.
Sonic's good.
Oh, yeah!
That's awesome.
It is so stupid.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Oh my
You wanna
gosh.
try it?
I want to try it, yeah.
Switch.
What is what?
So, run. Look at my finger.
Yeah.
Run, jump, spin jump. Sonic's all 3. Bottom.
Run, jump, spin jump.
Yes. And then
Okay.
Sonic's all 3 is jump. If that makes any sense. Good. Look at you, my cliff.
Where?
I think you got to go up with Mario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hit
which one is
1. Yeah. So we got to go up with Mario, I think.
All right. So I gotta pay. Oh, okay.
More attention to Mario than Sonic at this point, I think. Yeah. Okay. Go for it. I don't know. Give it a shot. Run, jump.
Oh man. Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. Oh man. This is gonna be rough.
It's tough, isn't it?
This is gonna be
It's
rough.
Tough.
Just go for it.
Yeah, it's almost like you got to pay attention to one and just forget the other one and see how well it goes.
Uh-oh. Yoshi.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, okay. I see Yoshi. I see.
You can, yeah.
Ah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yoshi.
You really have. It's really.
This is rough, man.
Yeah. Go the other way because I didn't do that level.
Okay.
See if that one's easier. I don't know.
I don't know if it's easier. Oh my gosh.
Careful.
You know, I'm not really much of a platformer though, too. Like I'm more of a beat 'em up. All right, cool. So, Sonic's moving.
Is Sonic in the one I did too, or are you in a different one? No, you're in a different one, right?
Oh, okay. Sonic's dead.
Yeah. This is...
Oh.
What even happened?
I grabbed him when he was a shell.
And he turned into a
and
turtle.
he turned into a turtle. Game over. I'm no Anthopants, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do that in 2.
You don't know how to play at all.
I don't know how to play Sonic 2.
Is this your first time playing video games?
This is my first time playing Sonic 2.
And you don't play on an arcade stick either, which is another thing, because the way you're holding it looks like you're a
It's
5-year-old child.
It's really uncomfortable. It hurts.
Why don't you do it like a wine glass, dude?
Look, I'm only
I'm
only playing one game, and I'm still playing terribly.
This isn't playing Sonic and Mario at the same time. This is cheating.
This is just me playing Sonic terribly.
Sonic, like, not even well.
I just jumped into the spike for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were playing Sonic 2, not Sonic 2. Again, you did the exact same thing again.
I don't know what the heck I'm doing, man.
Get out of the way. You want to try a different game? I don't know what Hyperstone Heist is set to. I want to get the slam on both at the same time. How funny would that be? I don't know if I can use that level of brain power though.
The slam happens like pretty.
It's like you have to be intentionally doing it though. That's the whole thing. You pay attention to one, you just cannot pay attention to the other.
So weird looking.
Isn't it crazy? The level design's so much better in Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
Like, look at now I'm at the boss in Turtles in Time, and Hyperstone Heist, you're just like still messing around with guys.
Yeah.
Did I go?
I think you got you got whatever his name is. Is Baxter his name? Is his name Baxter?
It's Baxter Stockman. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I don't have the belt. Hold on. I don't have anything on this guy. I don't have punch on either game. No, I have punch.
No, you have punch. Yeah, you have punch there.
Well, then I'm getting back attack here because probably some weird wires cross, and I'm getting jump and attack at the same time.
So you can't find jump for max.
Yeah, this I think is jump. It's jump and attack at the same time. Like some wires getting.
It's hitting both.
The signal's getting crossed.
Yeah. Oh man.
Final Fight and Streets of Rage did not work.
Yeah.
My punch
is my special
on one, yeah.
So you're gonna just be like killing health.
These things just didn't line up properly. Come on, Final Fight, you dumb game. And then I don't have start.
You don't have start on that one.
There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do. The buttons didn't land up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, man, almost 100% success.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
It's
awesome.
Pretty good. I think just like some tinkering.
Yeah.
To get it kind of like ironed out.
Yeah.
And it actually would have been like perfect, you know. But yeah, I'm happy. Like the Mario Sonic was a pretty big success.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Turtles games was a success.
Yeah.
It's just that Final Fight and Streets just ended up not lining up at all.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Congratulations. That was awesome.
Yeah. I didn't know it was going to work. It was like fairly successful.
Yeah.
I mean, more successful than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool, man. I'm going to call it a night. This is fun. Should do it again sometime.